Hey, good morning, guys. It's Micah from Sapulpa Times.
And Lucy with the City of Sapulpa.
Lucy's getting like the last minute update though before I don't know what she's doing.
I was going to show you me blonde, is
Oh
what I was
yeah,
trying.
we were just talking about her being blonde.
Yeah.
Because my son has suddenly taken an interest in the dumb blonde jokes and stuff. So we
Yeah.
were firing those back and forth yesterday and having a good time with it, I think. And so Lucy, I think I've moved down the ladder in her approval rating now because apparently she's a natural blonde,
hmm
even though I've never seen her that way. But it sounds like something that a blonde would say to try and pass themselves off as not being blonde or something.
Telling you that I am blonde?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. It's been a great week so far. It's been kind of exhausting for some of the stuff that's been going on. You were talking about that earlier. But I will say this, really appreciate all of the great engagement and feedback that we had at the last show when we talked about the three new businesses that are coming to town. We did want to kind of kick off this show by clearing up some of the misinformation. And people keep asking me where the McDonald's is going to be. And I thought I made that very clear where it was going to be. But I think they saw the story, but they didn't watch the show because I don't think I mentioned it in the story. So
Okay.
told them where it was going to be. And now we're talking about, we've got a Paragon update. We've got some other stuff happening in town we're going to talk about. But first, let's go back and clear up some of the stuff about the new businesses coming to town. Because what I'm seeing is people are saying basically to the effect of, hey, I wish the city would, why did the city need to let another McDonald's into town or something to that effect? So, Lucy, set the record straight here.
Yeah. So the City of Sapulpa has the ability to recruit businesses to a certain extent. Whether that be, they're going to offer some type of incentive, or the city has property, or um, there's a partnership between the city and a property owner and they're looking for a business or things like that. So those things are achievable. However, um, there are some times where it is completely out of our hands. We saw a lot of this when Starbucks came in. We had a lot of these questions, and now as we're talking about, another McDonald's, we're getting these questions again. And so the question is, why is the city recruiting businesses that we already have, or selecting businesses in locations to affect other businesses? And so I just want to clarify and say that let's debunk that really quick. So if you are a property owner and you have a property that's commercial, and you want to put a business there, you get to come to the city and say, hey, I want to put Starbucks here. Hey, I want to put McDonald's here. Hey, I bought a franchise for Brahms, and this is where I want it to go. And so, as long as you are abiding by all of the city codes and you are zoned in the correct way, you get all of your permits, you prove that you have franchising and all those things, we cannot tell you no.
Yeah.
So if you have the rights to Starbucks and you own that property, or McDonald's, and that's what you want to put there, then that is completely your decision. All you have to do is abide by city code.
That's really all there is to it. I would even venture to say that, I mean, the overwhelming majority of the time when we have a new business coming into town, the city had little enough to do with it aside from approving the process.
Right.
That's not to say the city isn't or won't be recruiting certain businesses to come into town, because I do think we'll see some of that here before too long. But as far as like the McDonald's thing specifically, and then you mentioned the Starbucks, in both cases, like you guys got uh, like unfairly chastised online about something that you had nothing to do with.
Mhm.
And frankly, I mean, we did talk about how I am a frequent flyer to McDonald's, and I will say that somewhat ashamedly. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, McDonald's is a very good, well-known brand, and so for them to set up shop right across the high school, I think it just shows how shrewd they are. Um, about what's going on and how
Mhm.
forward thinking they are. And
Yeah.
frankly, I mean, I'm hoping that some of the others well-known brands. We'll maybe catch a glimpse of that. And I think we're going to see some more development in that area.
Mhm.
I don't know about anything. I'm just saying that I think that we're going to see some of that. We're already seeing that. So, I mean, we've seen that happen before with the light at 49th West Avenue.
Mhm.
A lot of us, and I will admit that I was one of these who didn't really care for that light because I don't like to stop on a highway.
Mhm.
Okay. I hate traffic lights on highways, get them out. But I understood the necessity for it. And I knew that when we did put it in, it was going to start drawing a lot of that commerce down the highway from the Highway 75 Glenpool area. So, and we've seen that. Now we have a Dollar General that's up close to that. And the Indian clinic, the Muskogee Creek Nation Clinic is getting built there. And I think that's just a start. I mean, over the next few years, we're probably going to see even more happen. So it's, I don't know what else to say. Like the city didn't invite McDonald's to come and set up shop in Sapulpa.
Right. So that's kind of another thing. Like you brought up Dollar General. And so one of the things with Dollar General, they have site locators and they have retail development directors and things like that. And more so, where they actually go out and they look at their stores. And so Dollar General, their general revenue is created from residents that live within 1 to 1.5 miles from that store.
Oh wow.
And so that is something we learned when we
Okay,
did
tight
when we did
circle.
get the new
Yeah.
one. And so their, like I said, their general revenue comes with it, like I said, less than 2 miles of a radius of that store. So that's why it is very common to see Dollar Generals within 5 to 8 miles of each other, because then you are getting their circles of revenue are very close, but they don't overlap. And so having, I think we have four now, five maybe. Four. We have four. So we have four general Dollar Generals in town, but none of their circles overlap, but they do cover, those 2 mile radius that's within there. And so with that, that was a property that was put up for sale. A Dollar General representative found it. They saw it. They said, "Hey, we don't have one within 5 miles."
We got a circle there that we could.
Yeah, and there's a 2 mile radius of people that are not shopping Dollar General because there's not one in their 2 mile radius. And so they came to us and said, "Hey, this is commercial property. It's right on the highway. We are retail. We meet all your codes. We want this spot. This is what we're doing." And we have to say, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. Occasionally, guys, you'll find that this happens to the city. An example that's kind of adjacent to this is the T-Mobile tower that happened over
Mhm.
at 49th West Avenue. There were a lot of people that came out and said, "We don't want this tower next to our houses or whatever." And while I certainly empathize with those residents that had to deal with that. It was the literal situation where the hands of the city were tied. The city council voted against it in order to go with their constituents, but what resulted was a lawsuit against the city, and then they had to hire outside counsel, and it ended up costing the taxpayers more money, and then they got the tower anyway. And so there are policies and procedures in place for this sort of thing, and it comes down to it that sometimes it doesn't always mean you're going to get what you want, but when they meet all the requirements and stuff, it's
Mhm.
not to say that that'll happen every time, but and a lot of times you're just gonna those procedures and policies are there for a reason, and when they're met, then they're met. So then you can choose whether or not to patronize those stores. Um, I do want to. I don't know what specifically like the boundaries that you're referring to, but Sapulpa has six Dollar Generals,
Okay.
and if you count the one out on Highway 97.
Yes. I forgot. I was missing the one over by 10 bucks when I
Yeah,
was counting in my head real
yeah.
quick. Yeah.
So I really thought that, and I actually think there's still a possibility Dollar General might close one of those stores in Sapulpa now that they opened that one up, but I don't know.
I do not know.
We'll see. Anyway, that's not even part of what we're talking about today. Today, the other big thing, thank you for clearing up on the McDonald's stuff and the city's role in a lot of that. But the other thing we're talking about, which kind of just hit the wires over the last couple of days, Paragon, the company that had been in turmoil for the last couple of years, was sold at auction late last week, I believe it was, sold to a company. I forget the name. I think I might have it here. Oops. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of the game here. Sorry. Oh my gosh. What did I delete that just now? What happened to it? I deleted my scene that had the Paragon thing up. There we go. Okay, sorry. Um, so back to where I was going. I don't have it anymore. So it was a company based out of Houston, I think, or maybe they at least have offices in Houston. They have an office in Tulsa apparently. Bought Paragon for $40 million. What does that mean for the company? Are they going to get it up and running again? Are they bringing jobs back? A lot of questions are going into this. That is all remains to be seen. It's really kind of up in the air on what's going to happen here. What we're talking about is this company bought, I believe, if I understand it correctly, the company, the assets, the name, possibly the patents that are involved. All of that was purchased at this auction. Now, it means that they could just take all of that and move it to Houston or move it to somewhere else, wherever this other company is. They've got an office in Tulsa. Maybe they'll keep it where it is, but we don't know any of that yet. So when we find out, we'll let you guys know. Um, I think in general, a lot of folks would like to see this business get up and running again. It provided a lot of jobs for folks in the town, and it's under new ownership now. So we'll have to see what happens there. The other side of that is the judge that is involved with this case against the family that owned the company is they just approved like a wide sweeping investigation that goes back like 15 years into various different documentation regarding like banking history and transactions and looking into the irrevocable trust and all of these things. So we're currently working on the story for that. Some of that is already out there. You can find it. We're digging in and see what else we can find, and I'll have the story out for you on that later today. But I know a lot of you guys are wondering about that. So that's what we know about Paragon so far. The next thing, and the other thing we're going to talk about is I went out to the bridge number 18 at Rock Creek today. That's looking real nice.
Mhm.
Real nice. Um, what can you tell us about that? How soon is that place going to be open, please?
The park is beautiful.
It is.
I actually went and walked it on, was it Thursday of last week? Yeah, Thursday of last week. So I went over there and walked and checked out all the signs. And we are waiting on some final electrical work to be done to actually connect all of the electricity to the OG&E poles. And then they were working on some final concrete pours at the end of last week and said that they should be wrapping that up within the next couple weeks. And then we will start seeing all of the vegetation and the plants and things like that going up. And you will start seeing cleaning crews and power washers
Wow.
and all of that out there. And so construction is dirty and messy. And so they are going to go in and clean all of that up. And we should be looking at opening the park. I was going to say within the next month, but March starts this weekend. And so I will say hopefully within the next just couple of weeks.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Ooh, that's awesome. I saw the sod and everything.
Mhm.
Usually, if they're putting sod down, that's a pretty good
Mhm.
indicator in my mind when they do projects like this that they're planning to open up pretty soon. So, uh, I mean, there's going to be a ribbon cutting and stuff on that, is there? Or is
Yeah, there will be a grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony. And so
okay.
we will get those details out. We were waiting on, so there is a special blue tent concrete that will go into some of the park.
Yeah.
And so we were actually waiting on that concrete. So once that concrete color arrived, then they would pour that. And that would give us a more definitive opening date because that color was back ordered.
Oh, okay. All right. Waiting on the blue concrete. Gotta
Mm.
have it. Gotta have the blue concrete. Um, okay, so right across the highway, however, is another update. The golf course, which has sort of been known. I don't know that this name ever really caught on. The historic Route 66 Rock Creek Golf Course, I think, was the name that it went under for just the last few years. Like before then, it was the Sapulpa Golf Course. I think
Right.
everybody called it that. And then it went under this rebranding. It's getting rebranded again. They actually just unveiled the logo for it. I have that here. I'd like to show that.
Right. So it is the Rock Creek Golf Course on historic Route 66. And so it was a big deal a couple of years ago to identify that we actually are on Highway 66. We have learned within the last couple of months that we are the only 18-hole golf course with a Route 66 address.
How about that?
And so, a couple of months ago, not even an entire year ago, we actually hired Kane. He is our new golf course manager, director. I don't know his exact title. All I know is he's the golf course guy. And if you haven't met him, he's phenomenal. I love getting to work with him. And so, one of the things that was very important was to create a visual logo that when you see it, you know who you are. You know who we are, you know what we represent. And so, here is our brand new logo. And so, over the next couple of weeks, you will see new signage going up. You will see new merchandise in the golf course clubhouse and all those things. And so we will be making this transition, hoping to officially be completely done with the transition by springtime and when actual golf season kicks off.
Okay. And I know that being on Route 66, first of all, that is a really cool thing. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that we're on that, the only 18-hole golf course, that kind of implies that maybe there's a smaller course or something on the
There
route.
is a mini golf course,
Oh, okay.
and then there is a 9-hole that runs along Route 66, but does not actually have a Route 66 address.
Aha. Okay. So we're the only one with an actual Route 66 address that has 18 holes on it,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. But I do know, like, we're going to continue to probably capitalize on that. Some of that we can't really talk about yet, but I do know there's some stuff that's going on behind the scenes that's happening in city council meetings and such. And hopefully we'll be able to unveil a little bit more information on that as some of that goes through the proper channels and becomes official. So, but yeah, that's exciting. That's a good thing. I will. I'm going to tell on myself here, okay? Because I remember sitting in the office with David Widows, our city
Okay.
attorney, and complaining to him about the city paying for a golf course. Now, mostly I was saying that because I don't golf, and I thought it was dumb to have a golf course that the city subsidized. And there were problems with the golf course. This is like 10 years ago. I had this conversation with him, and there were problems. They've since been corrected, especially with the hiring of Kane and everything. But I remember arguing with him about it, and he tried to explain it's like it's one of these quality of life things. We're making some changes. We're working on it, and I think he said something along the lines of, "I promise you, give it a few years, and it'll be a different tune here." And I am happy to say I was wrong about that. Now, even a guy who is not a golfer, but has been out there many times, as you know, to volunteer for tournaments and stuff, am proud of our golf course, proud of what we've got going out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the city deserves a big pat on the back there for investing in that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else we would do with that property if it wasn't a golf course anyway. I mean, it's all floodland, I
Yeah.
think, right? So it's like it's basically the best possible use for it.
Mhm.
And then it brings some revenue to the city as well. So it's awesome.
Thank you. That's pretty great. I will say Kane has made some big changes, and if you haven't been out there within the last year, I highly recommend you go check it out.
Yeah.
With new grounds crew and new standards and all those things. We've got cart paths, and we've done some big flood mitigation. And they did this thing where they like took out the greens and they like grew greens elsewhere and like babied them, and then they relocated them. And so
Into the golf course. That's cool. I
yes,
didn't
and
know that.
so the greens, if you are driving on Taft in front of Walmart, you will see like they're super green. They look awesome.
Super green.
They're super green. Like everything is still supposed to be dead right now, but you drive by the golf course and it's green and it's
Yeah.
not painted. I did go look. I went to go look to see if it was real. It's real grass.
Just all the more reason to be proud of what we got, guys. So maybe it'll cause you to take up golfing or not, but at least be happy about it,
Yeah.
I guess. So lots of stuff happening over on that side of town. Even more to come. You guys stay tuned in the time loop here. We're going to keep you in the loop on everything that's happening in the town that we love. That's all we've got for the show today, unless you've got anything else. Okay. Do you have a joke?
Mm-mm.
I have a joke. Can I tell you the joke that I told you after the show on Monday? Would that be okay? We
Yeah.
could pretend to laugh at it,
Okay.
even though you've heard it again.
Okay.
So this comes from my son, Reed, who
Okay.
you know is quite the jokester, and he asked that I share this one on the show. So he said that he told it from the perspective of being a married man. He's 11, but he said, "Yeah, so I hung up a map and I told my wife that wherever she threw the dart, that's where we would go on vacation. And so I hung this map up, and she threw the dart, and looks like we're going to be spending the next 2 weeks behind the fridge." So my 11-year-old son told me that joke, guys. So if you don't like it, he's 11. But if you do like it, that's my boy. All right,
That's
guys.
awesome.
Thanks for tuning into the Time Loop Live. Appreciate having you here. We'll see you again at Free Coffee Friday over at CTX, 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at 114 East Dewey. I don't know who's sponsoring this week. Is it the city? No? Okay. Better not be.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know if it is.
but we will see you guys then. Thanks for tuning into the Time Loop Live. We'll see you again on Friday where we talk about all things happening in the town that we love. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Bye
Bye.
bye.